Tribe Habits here, recording another voiceover for another training log, and once again, we are at the beginning of another training rotation, which might not be noticeable due to all the changes in my training. And yep, I just got rid of my shirt because doing handstand push-ups with a shirt on is a terrible idea if you'd like to see anything with your eyes. And yeah, I think it's about time I try to find another introduction for these because I'm not sure I like the sound of Tribe Habits here recording another voiceover or of another training log. But I'll figure something out. In the meanwhile, I would like to think that my voiceover skills are starting to become something quite decent, although I still do need a couple of attempts at recording these. I never get it right on the first try. Always need to retake. But anyways, the training this time around is slightly different again for different reasons than the usual. This time around, as I've mentioned previously, my left tricep is slightly inflamed because of excessive volume, and in response to that, I've had to adapt a couple of things. The main one being, this would be the time where I'll do behind the neck overhead presses, and I instead open with a set of wall handstand push-ups, floor handstand push-ups, wall assisted floor handstand push-ups. And that is so I can avoid the deep tricep bends, the angle of the elbow in the behind the neck presses, because those are irritating my elbow quite a bit. And so I do these instead, which just get my elbows to 90 degrees, and I do one set of that, doing contrast work between that, which feels somewhat heavy, to then two sets of lateral raises, which I've been playing with. And in regards to that, I would actually like to mention the concept of relative motion, which is a biomechanics concept. Biomechanics is something I've been addressing quite frequently on these voiceovers, but nonetheless, relative motion I don't think I've addressed yet, but I might be wrong. If so, so be it. So I'm actually only raising my arms to the point where my shoulders deltoids are responsible for the raise, or at least for the most part. Of course, I could get higher if I involved my traps in the movement, but this is not what I want to get from this particular movement. So I'm just chasing that relative motion or loading of that relative motion of the shoulder. So I'm not doing anything more for the delts if I go higher, or at least not anything that I would want. And yeah, by the end, I do involve my traps some more and I get more momentum, just because after I finish my targeted number of reps, or after I feel like I can't do any more with the strict form that I'm going for, I just like to adding a bit of volume by utilizing cheating form. It just feels tremendous to overload your already spent deltoids with cheat form, because obviously you couldn't do any more reps with strict form. So just add a bit of volume. It's not gonna wait on me, so it's okay. I can recover just fine from it, so there's really no reason to skip it. Of course, if you can add in extra and recover from it, do so. If you can't recover from extra volume, don't add extra volume. It's junk. Now for this week's dose of somewhat cohesive scattered thoughts. Hunger makes it easy to eat too much. The passionate are eager to improve, and so often fall into the compensatory behavior of doing too much. Whenever one has the sensation of falling behind, or worse, feels his worth is directly correlated to his performance on a given field, it is easy to overly immerse oneself in said realm. Once passion turns into obsession, it is hard to notice you are beginning to lose sight of the path. Too close to tell. If one finds himself within 30 centimeters of an elephant, all he can conclude is that the wall in front of him has penis-like skin. Doing too much sounds like a foolish mistake for those who lack passion. and the courage to relentlessly pursue something. Because they don't try, because they don't see the point in trying, harming oneself from trying too much seems ludicrous. They have made their choice, don't have the drive, so they park. Unable to understand why one would try to such an extent, and painfully uncomfortable when said behavior eventually bears fruit. To avoid being cornered by one's own passion, one must gradually learn to distance himself. Find solid footing so roots of confidence can begin to grow and he can wisely walk his path without allowing his eagerness to be a distraction, without allowing his insecurities and doubts to lead him astray. Confidently, calmly doing the work, and later reaping the reward seamlessly, simply as a byproduct. Understanding that rushing to a peak might lead to a catastrophic fall, taking it one step at a time. This is a text I wrote today, and I add this comment to it because I feel it highlights what makes writing such a worthwhile endeavor to me. These are my own words on a topic I've spent countless agonizing hours thinking of, so many so that I regurgitated this text in a matter of minutes without much effort. And now, this frame of mind, this perspective, will be available for me to revisit until the end of time, or until the end of my time in this ginormous rock. Whenever I feel lost or anxiously try to rush towards results in an attempt to quiet down doubt and insecurity within me, I can regain footing just by reading my own words. It's a phenomenal thing. A slap in the face with no bloody nose sequels. My current self often thinks, oh, my future self will handle that. And in writing, my old self finds a way to support my future self. Egotistical therapy, one could call it. Basically, attending a therapy session hosted by your belly button. Certainly sound from the economical point of view.